Until the 1st of February, I'm excited to be partnering with HelloFresh UK. Get money off fresh meal kits delivered to your door by using the discount link or the checkout code in the description below. Get 50% off your first box and 35% off the following 3, as well as 3 free gifts. If you want to see more from HelloFresh UK, then check out my social medias where I've been sharing my meals the last few weeks. And what's best, if you sign up, you help support the channel and you can cancel at any time. Here we go then, it is time for our first major cup final in Northern Ireland. It's the Antrim Shield and we've got a difficult test. We're facing champions Linfield, a side that are flying in Europe, and we can barely compete domestically. Are we going to be able to get our first major trophy? I somewhat doubt it, but let's go and find out. Yes, hello and welcome along to the Distillery versus Linfield Chronicles in this Build a Nation save with me, Daniel. We are back today for our first major cup final against champions Linfield, and we follow it up with a big game in the league against champions Linfield. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We've of course got our new January signings in now, those that we've talked about and met prior to this episode. But are they making an impact? Well, let's go and have a look at the schedule and find out, because it's been interesting so far. You were with me last as we lost to Linfield in the League Cup semi-final on pens. That was after a very good win against Ballymena. We then started the festive period a little bit disappointingly. We lost at Dungannon, we drew against Warren Point, and then we've hit form. I know we struggled a bit against Coleraine and Larne, but we did win against today's opponents Linfield in the league. I don't think we'd done that prior to that match, and we did get a couple of big 4-0s as well. As we rotated the squad, we built the depth a bit more, and to be fair, that strength in depth has helped us. So let's have a look at the results. We lost by 2-1 at Dungannon. Morgan Griffiths gave us the lead early in the second half, but we just ran out of legs. A 1-1 draw at home to Warren Point. Sean Daniels sent off early in the second half after Barry Coffey had equalised. We then went defensive and just clung on. But back-to-back 4-0s against Glentoran. Look who scored them all. Jonathan Mucklehatton with 4. And then against Cliftonville, Jonathan Mucklehatton with 2. Sean Moore and Ben Williams getting 1 apiece. Into the new year against Linfield, Cameron Cooper scored on his debut. Whitehall and Mucklehatton added late goals as well. And then against Coleraine, a 2-1 defeat with a Mucklehatton penalty. A good 0-0 draw against Larne. And then a 1-0 win in the Irish Cup last week. Sean Moore stupidly got himself sent off. He is now suspended for both Linfield matches. But James Convey might well be off soon. Scored a winner with a stunning free kick. So now, after all that, we've got a pretty hectic end to the month. 2 games against Linfield, this big cup final and a league game. We're basically going to have to throw the league match, play everyone today. We did rotate at the weekend for Institute, but then against Portadown, Ballymena, Warren Point, 4 days apart for each of them, maybe we can go a bit stronger. We'll wait and see how that pans out. I am, though, changing my priorities a little bit here, because we talked about routes into Europe, and being 4th and best of the rest probably gets us a Europa playoff place, and then maybe we can get through out of the 4 teams. We did fall at the final hurdle both times last year, though. What I'm looking at now is the Irish Cup. We've beat Institute, we've drawn Ballymacash Rangers. That isn't the important bit though. Yes, we've got a pretty comfortable route through. Look at some of the names that are missing. There is no Linfield, there is no Larne, there is no Glentoran. If we go back to the first round a couple of weeks ago, in fact 3 days ago, Larne lost at home to Ballymena United. Linfield lost on penalties to Dollinstown. Maybe they were resting people for this midweek. Glentoran lost 6-5 after extra time to Dungannon. And top championship side Glenavon lost at home to Strabane Athletic. I mean, it is absolute chaos in the Irish Cup. Loads of shocks, loads of surprises. I feel like this is now very quickly turning into our best route into Europe. So I am going to go strong in the Irish Cup from this point, and hopefully we make it through that way. I feel it's our best chance. 3 league games today, but we are now comfortably established of best of the rest. Linfield and Larne just above us, but they got loads of games in hand. You look below though, I would argue we're the 4th best team in this league. We just got past Cliftonville last year. We're now better than Glentoran and Ballymena as well. It's one more hurdle. It's a massive hurdle to catch those 3 professional sides at the top, particularly when Larne and Linfield have had so much European money. But if we can sneak into Europe, even via the Cup this year, those couple $100,000 could make a big difference. So let's go and get through the tactical meeting. The cup final, we will go as strong as we can. Ben Owen has not been nightclubbing for a month, so he's actually available to play today. We have got a player who's going to be leaving us at the end of the season, and there's a few other contractual issues too. We'll go and talk about those in a moment, but for now, let's pick our team. We'll be back in a minute to run through the 11. Well, some big decisions made today, particularly on the bench, as a lot of the players are clinging on physically at the end of 2 very hectic months. But let's get some admin out the way first. Decisions in terms of players in. Cooper, the new signing, is on the bench. Don't forget Burns, the other one, the midfielder. He stayed on loan at his former club Carrick till the end of the season. We've also lost Oren Crow now. He's gone to Ballymena for about 10 grand. And Tom Wilson-Brown, the solid backup defender, he has agreed a free agent deal with Coleraine in the summer. They offered him about 400 quid a week and we just can't compete. So he's done okay. He's not been a standout by any means, but he will be off again this summer coming round. And with Ben Owen being a situation off the pitch to deal with too, that could leave us with some problems at centre-half. Of course, Jim Wood is also ineligible. It's his parent club we're facing in this final, and Sean Moore is suspended after his antics at the weekend. But I have chucked on a sub-goalkeeper. I've put in McGill largely for fitness and for the fact that he's a model pro. We want to have someone with that mentality in the dressing room. And it means the tired Wilson-Brown misses out on the squad. McDowell and Convey not on the bench either. Bit harsh on Convey after scoring a winner at the weekend. But the 11, no surprises at all. It's Ethan Ross in goal. Bell and Dobbin coming in are the fullbacks with Williams and Owen as centre-half. Daniels and a very fatigued Whitehall in midfield. And Pardee on the right. Scott on the left due to more suspension. And then Morgan Griffiths behind Jonathan McElhatton. It's a big game. I finally feel we're on the cusp of competing with these top sides. But doing it on a regular basis and in a massive occasion is a very different question. Can we do it? Let's go and find out. Well, now we know why Linfield went out of the Irish Cup. Lots of their reserve players drop out and the first team come back in. Some originals like Palmer and Cooper we know are great. McGuckin and Mackey are top goal scorers up top. This is a side that picked up 6 points in the Europa Conference. This is a side that have won back-to-back titles. We are going to have to be at our very best to compete. And even then, whether we win is another question. Big crowd in, I would imagine. And it is at our ground, weirdly. It will be our biggest ever attendance, I'm sure. Well, it's been a quiet start with 18 minutes gone, but it is Linfield on the front foot now. Set piece headed away and they've committed a lot of men forward here. Griffiths can bring it down the right hand side to Pardee. He's got 2 in the middle if he can find them. Gets to the box, across it goes. Not a good ball, but the clearance is poor too. Griffiths wins it back for Dobbin, who's on a yellow already. And now he gives the ball away to Cooper. Do not get sent off. It seems like it's gearing up for a challenge. It goes backwards out of his way. I'm happy about that. O'Neill goes long over the top though to McGuckin. That's not so good. Keeper's in no man's land, but fair play to him. He was rounded. He closed the angle a little bit though. And Ben Owen with a super block gets it wide for a corner kick. It's going to be taken by Joel Cooper. He is a threat, of course, got good delivery here. To the back post it goes, headed away by Bell. Whitehall can hoof it downfield. 20 minutes gone, not many chances so far. You all know the drill by now. On this channel, we make cup finals boring. I don't want this to be an exciting match. I want us to win. And to do that, we probably have to limit their chances. As we've got the ball at the back with Ben Owen. He finds Curtis Bell and Scott. Coming down the left again. Apologies for all the background noises and heavy breathing that comes with this cold. As Owen picks the ball up again to Daniels. Big ball over the top. McElhatton's in. He's so reliable normally against his former club. And he blazes it over the bar. It's a big effort and it's still no shot on target. But you're not going to get many better than that. He's nervous. His first touch was poor, as was his shot. And at half-time, it's 0-0. We're in the game. It's been fairly even. We've restricted them massively. Now he looks complacent up front. What on earth is wrong with you, man? You weren't that bad, but you can still improve. Now he's motivated. Let's see if we get the reaction. Well, nearly 10 minutes gone in the second half. We're back with what looked like a foul throw by Dobbin, but we'll roll with it. We're not complaining. I hope we get half the gate receipts today again, because this will be a big one if we do. Big switch of play to Scott. Daniels having a super game in midfield. Back to Curtis Bell. We're making a run again, but Bell goes himself. Good run, great physicality shown. Into the box, back across goal. Griffiths taps in. Brilliant advantage referee, nearly blew up for the penalty. Morgan Griffiths slides it in. And I've got to be fair, it's the first generation of players we've had with Bell, with Griffiths, with Daniels and Whitehall in the middle, with McElhatton up front. They're improving all the time. We score with our first shot on target. We take the lead in the Shield final. I know it's only the third biggest cup in Northern Ireland, but it would be massive for us. It would be a real statement of intent. And if we can go and do the same then in the Irish Cup without these big boys in it, maybe it's European football next year. At least one qualifying round to get some money from. As Daniel's over the top to McElhatton. It's another great ball. And it's another poor finish. What has happened to him up front today? He's not got his scoring boots on. He's not found his first touch. And with 20 to go, Daniels has put him in twice. And because he's not having a good game, because he's been complacent or nervous, this is why we bought this man. Cameron Cooper will come on. He is the perfect sub in that position. No difference in quality. That is what we needed. 10 to go, and there's some tired legs. There's some average performers, so let's make changes. Curtis Bell at left back will be replaced by Michael Hammond. We're also going to bring on Latifa from Pardy on the right wing. I could take off the lefty, but I haven't got anyone there. It's then Coffey or Hart. I'm looking in midfield. They're both very good players. I'm going to leave it for now. We'll make the others later on if we need to. 3 changes made. 10 minutes left. It's a Linfield free kick. Don't you dare. To the back post to Mills. Good save by Ross. And the rebound's in from Cammy Palmer. 1-1 with 8 to go. It was so close yet so far away. Let's encourage the boys again. We've got 5 minutes plus stoppage time. I'll make the subs in midfield if we go into extra time. But it looks like it's going to be a struggle now. We've not got the physical advantage here. And this is the problem with putting the keeper on the bench, isn't it? You then end up with less subs that you can use. So we've got 3 more to make. Dobbin will come off for McGill. What on earth he's doing in this final, I don't know. But he's got the personality, if nothing else. In midfield, I'm going to take off Griffiths for Coffey. Hart will come on for Whitehall. And that is what we're going to leave it with. Extra time against Linfield. 1-1 is the score. And I think now we're probably back to being underdogs. Half time in extra time. Just noticed it's a sellout. 7,000 for the first time ever at this ground. But looking at the stats now, Linfield are starting to dominate. They're having all the shots on target. The expected goals is flying up. But they haven't scored. And we're going to penalties. We had heartbreak against them in the last episode. We lost on penalties in a semi-final of the League Cup. Is it going to strike twice the lightning? I hope not. Let's go and have a look at who we can pick for these. Cameron Cooper is the best penalty taker at the club. He will go first. A lot of the others looking calm, which is great. So Coffey, Daniels will come in as well, and Ben Williams. I'm trying to remember who missed last time, but there's no point doing that. Taylor Hart, Michael Hammond, Lewis Scott, Daniel McGill can go. He's positive. That's the main thing. We'll put Latifa in there as well. 10 picked. We'll let the goalkeeper go last. Let's see how we get on. We've got home advantage. Make it count. I'm not sure we will. Cameron Cooper steps up first. He is realistically our best chance, but we've seen this so often before. He smashes it down the middle. It's enough power to beat the keeper. 1-0. We've got the advantage. Don't forget this is what happened last time. Then Linfield missed their first and still went on to win it. Armstrong scores this time, so a different pattern at least. Barry Coffey is up next. He is our second taker. He might have missed one last time actually. Coffey again. This time it's in, just down to the keeper's left. He went the right way, couldn't quite get there in time. Mackie is up for Linfield's second penalty. Come on, Ethan Ross. He's doing the dance. I can see that. Oh, it's gone through him. It's 2-2. Again, the penalty positioning not placed well. This little box here should really be at the top of the screen. As Daniel steps up. Can he score? Yes, he can. Sends the keeper the wrong way. Distillery fans behind the goal are buoyant. Where are you all in the league games? I need you here next week as well. Mills up for Linfield. Centre half. Sends the keeper the wrong way at first. Great penalty into the corner. Ross tried to react after. He was getting nowhere near it. Williams up now. The centre halves are all at it. Did he miss last time? I think he did. He scored this time in the bottom corner. 7 penalties. All scored so far. Both sides absolutely flying. And now it's Aaron Donnelly, the left footer. Can Ethan Ross be a hero? No, he can't. We're off to sudden death again. It's going exactly the same way. We've ended up in sudden death. Now can Hart score his goal? Right-footed. Steps up confidently. It's happened again. It's a terrible, feeble penalty down to the keeper's right. He basically walks across and saves it. Holds on to it comfortably. And now Amos can win it for Linfield. We're getting so close to the finishing line. But we're just not able to do it. Amos up, left-footed, into the top corner. And again, it's penalty heartbreak. 2 episodes in a row. And we have to watch Linfield lift the trophy. We were 7 minutes from winning it. We were one penalty from winning it. But yet again, they have just shown that bit of experience and quality. They've beaten us on penalties 2 cups in a row. Linfield win the Shield. I don't want to watch that. We'll be back in a moment. 3 days' time. And with no doubt a very understrength team to face them again. Well, we're back to face Linfield again just 3 days later, and this time in the league. The good news is we did get half the gate receipts at the weekend, £95,000, which has trebled our bank balance and given us a real opportunity. So let's go and close down Joel Cooper. How many of our 11 is fit? Because we played 120 minutes. Basically, anyone who didn't come off in the first hour isn't fit. We're going to have to pick this team carefully. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, I've gone as strong as I can, but it still doesn't look great today. Ben Owen is going to have to play tired because McDowell isn't really good enough and McGill nowhere near. The rest of it, though, it's as fit as it can be. We've gambled up front. We've kept McElhatton in on a heavy match load. Cooper's obviously going to be up front and Pardee off the left. But the rest of it, or to be fair, and Pardee could play number 10. That's a little bit better as it is. But the rest of the team is okay. It's just whether we've got enough bite in midfield. I'm not sure we do. Out of the squad entirely, Ben Williams, Sean Daniels and Archie Whitehall. On the bench but struggling are Scott Griffiths and Bell. And we've got to keep people fit for Tuesday because Portadown at home, the bogey sides back to back with them and Ballymena. They're the ones we've got to get the wins in. So our 11 for today is Ethan Ross in goal. Dobbin and Hammond the fullbacks with Ben Owen and Wilson Brown at centre half. Penalty villain Taylor Hart alongside Coffey in midfield. Then McElhatton, Convey and Pardee the 3. Behind Cooper up front. Let's go and submit the team. It's a big game against Linfield. They must have tired legs too. But I'd argue their backup team's better than ours. 3 changes made for Linfield. I was expecting a lot more than that. I'm wondering if they've gone for the better players and the lack of physical side. And maybe we can take advantage. So let's go and put our 11 out for today. We've got nothing to lose in this one. And I genuinely think we've got a chance. They were knackered when they visited us on New Year's Day. And hopefully they'll be the same in this one too. We're going to keep all the duties as they are, get into the first half. Now go and press them, make them work, because I feel we can get on top here. We're going to play on the counter-attack and try and take advantage. And even when we rely on the crowd, it's absolutely tiny here at Windsor Park. Let's counter-attack Linfield and see if we can get a result. Revenge for what happened last week. And here we are, 12 minutes in. It's Linfield in possession in defence, but it's not been a great start to the game again. Probably take a point away from home, but we did beat them last time in the league, don't forget. And to be fair, in 90 minutes, we haven't lost to them, have we? Because the 2 cup ties went to penalties. But as I say that, we go 1-0 down. In the 13th minute, it is too easy. And Hammond on the left, he's supposed to be as good as Bell. Owen is a little bit tired, but they both just sort of backed off, and it was too much in the end. 1-0 Linfield, the top 3 are showing their class. This is one of their many games in hand too. So we look at those and we think, well, we're still a way off yet. Yes, on the big occasion in those cup games, we can compete with them, and even in our league games, but they're all just too consistent. As McElhatton on the right, got it from Hart. It's a good ball into Cooper. Heads just over the bar. Probably should have done better there. I would have expected him to hit the target. But if we go and get through the league table, how are we at the minute? Yeah, look, we're some way off. We're basically in a little league of our own in 4th. We have to take advantage when we get to that European playoff. Unless we've, of course, won the cup by then. As McElhatton finds Hart. He gets it back to Dobbin. It would be really good if we could get through in the cup. Because if we won it that way, the top 2 would go into Europe. And then whoever's out of it from Coleraine, Larne and Linfield would go into that European playoff. And you'd get 3 really strong teams in Europe and us. That's what we want in the long term. As Donnelly picks the ball up at the back, Linfield look really comfortable in possession here. McClellan goes wide to Wilson, inside to Thompson and up to Mackey. Time to turn, plays the big ball to Cooper. On the left-hand side, cuts it back to Armstrong. Ethan Ross hasn't helped himself there. Beating it is near post, it sort of squirms under him a little bit. And we do struggle in this game. He will be disappointed. And unfortunately, it's probably game over. And here they come again. It looks like we've hit a bit of a mental block after what happened in the midweek. Wilson loses out to Hammond, but the clearance is straight back to them. They're all over us here. Cooper finds Armstrong. Turn. Wilson Brown intercepts. Coffey hoofs downfield. We're going nowhere with it though. Donnelly brings it forward again to O'Neill and Thompson. O'Neill again. Through ball towards McCausland. Hammond caught out yet again. What is he doing at left back? He's supposed to be the best defender at the club on paper. And he's getting absolutely caned. The positioning is awful. And we're 3-0 down. Linfield have battered us. and this is what happens when we're not at our best. Lots of changes against one of the best sides in the country. Unfortunately, it is not paying off. Let's just think about next midweek now. We're going to bring on Latifa, Fort and Pardy. Convey will go in the middle. Latifa, inverted winger off the left. Ben Owen will come off for McGill. Wilson Brown will switch sides. I know he's not good enough, but again, it's probably game over. Tempted as well, to be honest, to take off Hammond. He's been so poor. I'm going to. Wilson Brown and McDowell will come on. Wilson Brown plays left back. Don't think he's done that for us before, but he is capable enough. He'll be fine. And then in midfield, we want to take McElhatton off, but I've got no other fit subs, so we'll leave it at 3. Now, can we keep the score down while we prioritise next midweek? As that's a foul throw again, but Dobbin loses out. Amos gives it to Cooper. Good ball in. Amos scored that winning penalty, didn't he, just 3 days ago? I'm surprised they're all so fit after this. Ross has the ball at the back. Big kick over the top. Cooper will chase it. Can anyone get there? Of course not. McCausland brings it away to Wilson. Back to McClelland is centre half. Linfield very confident in possession. Mackie plays it forward. Over halfway they come. No pressure on the ball. Hart does win it back eventually though. Convey can look for Cooper. So slow. Someone speed up please. McClelland again has the ball at the back. There's no pressure on them whatsoever. And this could be any score they want though. Hart nicks it. Everyone's dallying in possession for both teams. McElhatton on the right. Awful crosses blocked. Amos gets it to Donnelly. McElhatton nicks it back. In he goes. Scores a goal. Of course he does. He always does. He's a very good player, McElhatton. But that, from both teams, was an absolutely disastrous spell of play. Both of them giving the ball away willy-nilly. We're lucky it fell on a plate for us. With an hour gone, I know it's probably game over. I'm going to replace McElhatton too. He will switch sides with Latifa. Scott is fit enough to do half an hour. He'll come on as a winger on support. Well, as much as we could go for it, I'm not going to. Griffiths and Bell will sit on the bench unless we score a second here. If we do, we'll then bring on Griffiths for Convey. But Wilson gives the ball up to Scott. He goes back to Coffey. Can we get a consolation here? Into Latifa. It's a great save by the goalkeeper. Made himself massive. The old Schmeichel won that. And it stays 3-1. We've got one sub left. I'm not going to make it. We lose 3-1 to Linfield. Double heartbreak in the same week, courtesy of the champions. We lose out in the cup final on penalties, but this one in truth, we were well and fairly beaten. Well, with that out of the way, let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. I do think the rest of January is going to be quiet. There's one player I'd like to sign, but I don't have the wage bill for it. So unless the likes of Convey and McDowell and McGill will move on, it probably ain't going to happen if I'm being honest. So it looks like it's going to be the status quo. We've not got too many games now until the league split though. So the plan is, cup permitting, it depends who we get when we get past Ballymacash. I'm presuming we will. We will be back for the last 2 games before the split. The View away, well, it should be a win on paper. And Glentoran, probably a big game because at the moment, they're scrapping for a place in the top 6 after a few good years. So if you're looking forward to seeing how that goes, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the January editions, what you thought of that final. It really was heartbreaking. And do you think we now bounce back? Bar Larne at home, we've not got any of the big 3 for the rest of this spell. So I'm hoping we can pick up points and really cement 4th. If you want to stay up to date and find out if we can, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back here in a couple of days' time with 2 big matches from the Irish Premiership. And in the meantime, we'll be back with the head coach tomorrow. That playlist is in the eye above. It's also there with the Twitch channel, the podcast, and the sponsor HelloFresh too. Please do check them out if you haven't already. It does make a massive difference. And I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time as the push for a first opportunity to play in Europe continues here at Distillery.